screens and keyboards. Though that may sound direly elegiac, I know people will always need stories, and that any era's external packaging of them hardly matters. Oral formulas, scrolls, codices, paperbacks, e-texts, they all get the narrative job done. Nonetheless, what follows may often appear a kind of memorial, a minor monument to a time of softly turned pages, when the young entered libraries, hungry for books to devour rather than information to download, when printed matter still mattered, and kids daydreamed more often of writing the great American novel than of working on their websites. Some readers may wonder if I discovered any unexpected truths or insights in working on an open book. Perhaps only, as Chekhov once observed, that it takes a god to distinguish between our successes and failures in life. Still, one can at least chart some of the forces at work and recall a few of the turning points. Michael Dirda, Washington, D.C., January 25th, 2003. Note: although I touch on many books in the following pages, I seldom discuss any title for more than a few sentences, if that. Longer, more expansive pieces on books and their authors will be found in a forthcoming collection, and to some extent in the already published readings, essays, and literary entertainments. For an open book, I have changed a few names, in particular those of nearly all the young women I was sweet on after 8th grade. Who knows if all or any of them would want our association remembered. I've also adapted a few autobiographical passages from readings. Part 1. Learning to Read. Chapter 1. A quote from Charlotte Mew. The spirit afterwards, but first the touch. Daydreaming is my only hobby. Like many people, I have now and again tried to imagine the perfect environment, the ideal conditions for reading. A worn leather armchair on a rainy night, a hammock in a freshly mowed backyard, a veranda overlooking some summer sea. Good choices, every one, but I have no doubt that they are all merely displacements, sentimental attempts to replicate the warmth and snugness of my mother's lap. Even now I can close my eyes, and again she sits, Indian style, on the floor, in a corner of our family's dining room. Leaning against the steel-ribbed vents of the heat register, she wraps the chenille housecoat tight against her body and awaits the periodic exhalations of warm, dry air. Like any picture book hatchling or newborn, I burrow against the softness of her breast. From a small blonde bookcase, she selects one of a dozen or so worn golden books shelved there next to the cookie tin of broken crayons and the stack of torn coloring books. Her fingers are wrinkled, puckered from the hot water of the now drying dinner dishes. My mother begins to explain the bright pictures to me. Look, Michael, see the little duck. Isn't it cute? Ooh, look at the puppy. She laughs contentedly while cradling her 4-year-old son. Do I really and truly remember a story about a duck? Certainly I can still summon up vague memories of ravenous tigers whizzing ever more quickly around a palm tree and gradually turning into butter, Little Black Sambo, which was still widely read in those days. Mostly, of course, I recall the restful security of my mother's embrace, as we would read together after supper, when I was all washed up like a big boy and ready for bed in my pajamas. That feeling of animal satisfaction, of a full belly and soft cotton, has ever since been high among the myriad pleasures of a life spent reading. We lived in Lorain, Ohio, a blue-collar industrial town of 65,000 on the shores of Lake Erie, 30 miles west of Cleveland, and home to the largest steel pipe mill in the world. I had been born on November 6, 1948.